if you're dating a guy and let's say he makes like 150% more than what you make, right? So significantly more than what you earn on an
Yeah.
annual basis. Would you be okay with him just saying, "Look, Nikki, when we go out, when we're going to the coffee shop, when we're going out for dinner, don't take out your wallet. Please don't embarrass me. Let me just take care of things." Would you be okay with that?
I think if he asked me that, yes, but I'm just so used to like kind of like asking, do you want to split this?
Mhm.
I don't think a man always has to pay for everything.
No, I
I
understand,
think if
but if the
yeah.
guy's
No, I mean
like
if he wanted to,
sorted
absolutely.
and he
If
said
he
to you
wanted to,
in those
yes.
words,
Oh, yes, of
you'd be
course.
okay with it
Yes.
then?
Yes, I
Yeah.
would. I would say yes. If you want to, yes, you but I'm not forcing him to pay for me.
Yeah. What about you,
Mhm.
Danielle? Like, is that something that you'd fight on? You want to split the bill or the tab or go Dutch, or you're like, again, the guy makes a lot more money than he says, "Look, Daniela, please don't take out your purse. When we go to a coffee shop, restaurant, let me take care of it. It's embarrassing. Let me just, please, like I'm the guy." How does that sit
I,
with you?
I don't mind. I'm also like the type of person like, hey, like this is my treat. We're celebrating you because you got a promotion or
Sure.
whatever.
Okay.
Mhm.
But I mean, if you're telling me like, okay, cool, I'll get you next time. I mean,
Mhm.
Okay. Josephina, the notion of money.
I have a lot
Um,
of feelings.
yeah, go ahead. You've been sitting there listening, and I've watched your facial expressions. So, what are your thoughts?
I feel like the worst thing that has been taught to women
Mhm.
is that we need to be independent. I think that it really separated men and women, and it gave women this rat race towards independency and completely took away the role of the man, which is so important for the man to feel like he's needed. So I feel it's this masculating, do you say?
Emasculating.
Man, sorry, how do you say it?
Emasculating.
Emasculating men. And I'm not saying that a woman has to be with someone only when they have money or not in any way, shape, or form. I'm talking only about financial support, but this idea of being independent as woman has, like you were talking, Nikki, about teaching your daughter to be independent. I feel like that's my generation. I'm 38. That's what we have been taught. Like, go to college, be independent, don't depend on a
Mhm.
man.
Yes. Yep.
And yeah, that's what we have been taught. For me, I feel like it's really created a big separation and harmed the balance between the masculine, the man and the woman. And for me, I would say I personally disagree with that
Mhm.
philosophy.
Mhm.
But let's talk about independence at its core. What that really like. Let's call
Mhm.
a spade here.
Okay.
There's really not a world that could exist if women were completely independent from men.
Mhm.
If all the men disappeared off the earth tomorrow, this utter chaos within a week. The entire
Exactly, and
plumbing
same with
I would
system
say
would
women.
shut
within the
down.
first 24 hours,
There'd be no
Yeah.
electricity. There'd be no plumbing.
your
You wouldn't
toilets
have
wouldn't
running
flush.
water. Your toilets wouldn't flush. Like it would
Absolutely.
be an utter disaster. So it's
I
even this idea of we're independent, we no longer need men.
mhm.
It's still like, you do, and it's I don't know
Mhm.
why there's this dichotomy because there's clearly a healthy middle here. There seems to be this
Mhm.
dichotomy in these circles in these conversations about
Mhm.
you're either dependent on a man or you're completely independent
Mhm.
versus interdependence, where you
Mhm.
each
Absolutely.
have roles and you each have jobs that are assigned to you and you each
Mhm.
perform them well and they
Mhm.
add value to each other's life. I mean, there's nothing wrong
Mhm.
to me. There's nothing wrong with a woman who is attracted to a man because his ability
Mhm.
to gather resources, money, and the fact that he can
Mhm.
provide. Just like there's nothing wrong with the man who's attracted to a woman because she's in good shape and she's sexually attractive and she provides goodness and peace to his life.
Mhm.
I would say that money is just one currency that we have in
Mhm.
relationships.
Mhm.
So if a man brings the currency of money into the relationship and a woman brings the currency of love, of like creating a safe home, raising the
Mhm.
children, taking care of her man, that's another currency. So like we give so much importance to the as woman, like, oh, the money, I need to be independent because of the actual money. and we don't give any importance to all the other currencies that are in a relationship. That is much more than that. That's just one way of like supporting the relationship. And a man who is in his healthy masculine will not make a woman feel like she needs to be begging to get the 20 euros for the Starbucks. You don't feel that from a man that is proud to provide and finds it a purpose to support the family. You don't feel that.
I think it's a, like you said, the generation. I think nowadays, much younger, I feel I see like a difference, as for example, like my grandparents, my parents, and they were also married, and you clearly see that it was the man, he'd go out, he'd do the jobs, but they had jobs as well, but they depended on them for certain things. But I think that the dynamic nowadays is much different than the generations. I mean, I see women like doing their own thing now, very independent, and I see guys kind of letting them do that. I think guys are kind of relaxing now more and just letting the woman do things. I think I see it very different now. I feel like
because they're
tables have
afraid.
turned.
Right, but it's a worse
Yes.
system. It's a much
Yes.
worse system than it ever
Yeah.
has been.
Yes.
More people
yes.
are apart than ever before.
Mhm.
Yes.
More people
Yep,
aren't
yes.
happy than ever before. So
Yes, absolutely.
why is this something that we are taking part in? Why is this be independent, don't rely on a man, go and get the job, and don't like, why is that something we're propagating that? Because that's the exact kind of conversation and the talk that is pushing women into high paying jobs and high paying degrees. And that is shrinking their pool of available and viable men that they're going to find attractive, that they want to be with. So why is that the message that we're propagating?
I also think a lot of men are very intimidated by women that have everything together, because then they can't really control them. They can't be their little puppets. I
Well,
find
it's not about intimidation. It's the kinds of traits that you have to exhibit to get ahead in the corporate world are things like dominance and aggression, and you have to be very cutthroat. You have to step on people's heads. You have to stab people in the back. It's very difficult to succeed in any sort of industry and get to a very high paying or a high level position without making some enemies along the way.
Very true.
That's not intimidating to men. It's just not attractive to us. We don't find masculine domineering traits in women attractive. We don't that's not something we go for. So it's not.
Have you been told that guys have found you like difficult? Sorry, what was the word that you used?
Intimidating.
Intimidating.
Yeah.
Have guys told you that? Like, they find you in a very intimidating person?
Yes, they have. They don't like that I make more money than them. They don't like that I have a better job than them. A lot of them are very
overtly stated that they find you intimidating, or is that just your interpretation?
No, they have. A lot of them are like, I can't provide for you. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Okay.
I've multiple times before. They just feel they're like, you're just a very strong person. You're just going to go out and do it yourself. You're going to get it yourself. Whereas, let me, I'm the man. I'm supposed to step up. I'm supposed to. When a lot of them, and I work in a very like male-generated field, and a lot of them they're very soft now. I've noticed they kind of sit back and let the woman do the work.
But they've been told that by society and culture for decades now, right? Sit back, shut up, become less, so women can become more.
Men are afraid now to voice themselves. They're afraid to open the door for a woman. They're afraid to.
You're absolutely right. Yes. Yeah.
Because we told them to be afraid. We have taught them that we don't want to be different. We don't want to treat us different. So now we're not getting our doors opened. I go to the gym every day, and when I go into the gym, I always like observe who's going to open the door. If I'm passing by, and mostly the men that are in their 60s, 70s will open the door.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes.
But we created this. We women created this and then men are afraid now to voice themselves when they want to do something, so they just sit back. So we're just like totally killing that balance that we need.
Like you'll see men sometimes are afraid to even like approach a woman, because they'll be like, oh, I always, watch those, those like the games or those things where they'll say, oh, this girl's in the gym, she's half naked and she's doing this video shoot, but yet if I approach her, I'm the pig. If I look at her, I'm the pig. But she's, so there's always that dynamic too, where the woman's like, oh, all men are pigs, all they all do all this, and then the guy's like, well, you're dressing like that, I make it hard for me to approach you. So I think there's just a lot that's just very different from like growing up back in the how generations have changed over the years.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.